Not a pet, it's a microphone.
Okay, so you're a bit hard to hear now with the, try again. You there? Okay, I'll just get started. So hello everybody, thank you so much for joining on the call today, and thank you so much Andrew for giving up your time this morning. I know it's late where you are. What time is it where you are at the moment?
Oh, it's 6 p.m. It's not late.
Oh, that's not too bad at all. That's great. But it's after hours, so thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. I'm going to put it onto speaker view so that we can so it'll go onto the speaker. Oh, there we are. That should be fine. So everybody, for those of you who don't know Andrew is an absolutely amazing human. I've been following him for quite a while now, and he's so inspiring. So he is also a wellness advocate. He is one of the authors of the Empowered Success series, the official business system of dōTERRA. He's a dōTERRA Diamond and creator of the popular dōTERRA sales strategy course, 7 Steps to Residual Income. His strategic, achiever, and activator skills make him a great asset into the world of innovative strategies in the entrepreneurial world. And he's also a Master AromaTouch instructor, popular leadership trainer, and an avid cookie connoisseur, which is always important. So he's actually from Salt Lake City in Utah, and we are really, really excited to have him here today to talk to us about LRP and how to confidently get every single person on at least 50 PV LRP, and how to break down the awkwardness of LRP, scripts to boost your courage with wellness consults, and Andrew's secret formula. So I'm really excited to hear you talk today, Andrew, and thank you again for your time. But I'll hand it over to you. Now, do you need screen sharing capabilities? Because I can make you the host if you need.
I do.
Okay, let me just...
I can share my screen. I'm good.
Okay.
I can already do it.
Oh, perfect.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for having me, Amy, and everybody else too. Good to make some more friends in dōTERRA. And I love when people reach out and say, hey, let's collaborate cross team, because like this, you know, that it's really unique to do that in dōTERRA.
No,
a lot of companies like super territorial, we don't want to share secrets with other teams. And I don't know, I think that when we actually believe in what we're doing, we have to help each other, because we can't get our mission accomplished fast enough. Yeah. Like we think that we're really big in dōTERRA, but we're so puny. We're like, 6 million people out of 8 billion people on the planet. So
yep, definitely.
We have a lot of stuff to accomplish still. So everyone here you guys are all in Australia, right?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, beautiful. Well, so I've got some slides prepared, and I'm really excited to talk to you about how to get customers on at least a 50 PV LRP order. And when you implement what I'm going to share with you, you should have almost everyone you enroll go on LRP, you guys. And I know that might intimidate some of you guys, because a lot of people, it's funny how many people struggle getting someone to a wellness consult or getting someone on LRP. But when you get how to do it, it just happens so naturally. Like, it's not even work anymore for when you do it the way that I'm going to show it to you, okay? And having said that, in my slides, I'm going to share with you guys some scripts and some very specific processes. I pulled all of this from my 7 Steps to Residual Income program. So what I'd like to ask is, it's copyrighted material. So use it. Don't republish it online. Agreed? Okay. The 3 people that I can see gave a heads up. Sweet. Well, let me make sure that you can see my screen here. Can you see that?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Wonderful. And just so you know, Amy, when I'm in full screen mode, I can't see the chat box. So if anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to jump in the conversation. In fact, those are usually when these work the absolute best, because I've got a flow for you, but if you have something that's specific to relevant to what I'm talking about, pause me, stop me, and let's make sure that we get your questions answered. And I'll give you a few minutes at the end to ask questions too, okay?
Okay, thanks, Andrew.
So having said that, this is me. I like essential oils, I like business strategy, and I think cookies are a food group. They're my favorite food group. So just to set the stage properly, your ability to get people on LRP is contingent on your belief in the benefits of LRP. And it's so funny, you guys. I hear people all the time, and you've maybe said this yourself. People say, well, I just don't think that so-and-so would want LRP because she doesn't have the money for it. And as soon as I hear someone making excuses for another human being, all I think about is, you don't believe in the benefits of LRP yet. Like, I know you know the features of it. Like, I know you know the features, AKA features are like, 15% back in rewards points, or free product of the month, or shipping rewards, or keep your natural medicine cabinet stocked. Those are features, right? But whenever I hear someone making excuses for other people, I know they don't believe in the benefits of LRP.
I completely agree.
Like me, so my husband has been out in Florida teaching yoga since January 17th. He actually came by for 3 days. It's the first time I've seen him in 6 months. And since he's been gone, we've had 2 LRPs being processed every month. He's had a $200 shipment going to our house where I live, and then he's had a $200 shipment going to him in Florida. And you guys, like, just we use our dōTERRA so much. Like, and I'm not talking about product that he needed in Florida to share and sell. Like, I'm talking about stuff that he just uses habitually. We don't have kids, you guys, and we spend $400 a month on personal dōTERRA products. Does anyone else do that, by the way?
Yes.
Amy does. Okay. Good. Well, I'm glad some of you guys do. This is what I'm going to go over with you, okay, in our short time here. By the way, Amy, how much time do I have with you, just so I make sure I'm respecting the time?
Oh, look, our calls usually go for an hour, but if it goes over, that's no problem whatsoever.
I'll do you one better, and I'll try and keep it under an hour, just because I know that everyone has priorities. Okay. Perfect. So I'm going to show you how to schedule a wellness consult. Are you guys a wellness consult team?
Yeah. Yes, we are. Yeah, I definitely heavily promote consults. Yeah.
Good. But do some people here struggle with getting people to the wellness consult?
Yes, definitely.
All right. Well, you're going to love this. Okay. I'm going to show you how to do a wellness consult, and then keep in touch is the last part. So I already said this. Don't republish my stuff online, but use it. Go ahead. Okay. So let's dive into this. The first thing is how to schedule the wellness consult. Now, I'm going to start off with a little bit of a parallel for you. So imagine that someone goes into the doctor's office and says, I have this horrible anxiety and sleep issues going on, and I can't focus, right? I've got all this stuff going on with my head. I don't know what it is. And the doctor kind of examines you, no ear infections, no sinus infections, and he says, let's try this sleep medication. If that helps you, it'll help calm the anxiety too, okay? Maybe help with a little focus. You try it for a week, and then it doesn't help. For 2 weeks, it doesn't help. You go back, you call the doctor up and say, this didn't help me. And the doctor says, well, I'm gonna set you up with another specialist, right? Yeah. That's like an actual like brain doctor, something like that. Now imagine if the doctor says, okay, well, that's too bad. It's weird. It's not working. Well, if you wanted to, you could talk to a specialist that I have here in the office, and maybe we could, try some other things to help. Are you interested? Has anyone ever heard a doctor talk like that? No. You're laughing because it sounds stupid, right? Why? What does the doctor actually say?
Well, they just prescribe.
They just tell you what to do, right? Even when you go in the first time, does the doctor say, okay, here's the medication I'm going to recommend. If you want, you could talk to a nurse for a follow-up in a few days to see how it's going. Would you be open to talking to the nurse again in a few days to, make sure your medication's helping you? No, they don't do that, right? He says, you're gonna get on the phone with the nurse in 4 days, and the nurse is gonna ask you some follow-up questions, make sure you're reacting well to the medication, and make sure it's working. Yeah. That's it. Why do we treat wellness consults any differently? Why do we treat them differently, you guys? Why are we so wishy-washy about the wellness consult? Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to fix this problem in your business. By the way, if you do it the ridiculous way that I'm showing you, and I know that some of you guys do it the ridiculous way, if you keep doing that, you're going to have a ton of extra work in your dōTERRA business. Because what's going to happen is you're going to go to all this work of sharing oils with someone, teaching them at a one-on-one, teaching them at a class, investing all those hours to get them actually enrolled. And then because you don't have a good follow-up process, most of them won't go on LRP. And you now have no residual income. So what do you have to do? You have to go and do a whole bunch more work to find more people to sell. And basically what you'll create for yourself is a very extensive sales job, which is not why. Did anybody join dōTERRA to sell stuff? No, I know that none of you are raising your hand because nobody did, right? But if you, and so the residual income comes from the follow-up. What's that question that popped up, Amy?
Oh, it's just someone saying no.
Okay, good. Yeah, I know none of you joined for a sales job. So here's how to schedule a wellness consult. You're at the end of a successful presentation. Once you've collected the enrollment info, you schedule the wellness consult right then and there, okay? Like you don't leave that conversation until you have the wellness consult scheduled. So a couple logistical points. Schedule it for, you guys, because you're in Australia, these numbers might be off for you. Schedule the wellness consult for a couple of days after their kit comes, like really soon after their kit comes. So I live in Utah. If I enroll someone in Utah, they get their kit in 2 days. And so I'm going to schedule the wellness consult for like 4 days after I enroll. So you know what your timelines are, okay? And this is what you say, okay? I can't tell you how glad I am that you're going to have these oils in your life. One of the important things we'll do is a phone call after your kit comes. I'll help you learn how to use them for your health needs. I'll show you how to log into dōTERRA.com and order on your own, and I'll show you some tips to save the most money. All right. Now, there's one thing that I meant to add in here that I was in a rush when I typed the slide up, and I left off actually probably the most important line. Okay. So I need you to write this down. If you're taking a screenshot this, but add this in. Okay. So the first thing you say is actually this. You filled out their enrollment info, and you say, okay, because you're investing in yourself, I'm going to invest in you too. Okay, I'm going to say this again. Because you're investing in yourself, I'm going to invest in you too. And then you say the rest of this. So I can't tell you how excited I am that you're using these oils in your life. So I'm going to take some of my time and resources, and we're going to do a phone call when your kit comes, and I'll show you how to use them for your health needs and how to log into dōTERRA, order on your own, and save the most money, okay? And you guys, if you say it like that, nobody is going to say no. Nobody will say no. The reason why people aren't coming to your wellness consult is because you're not acting like they're valuable. That's all. Yeah. And you might be acting like they're optional. All right. So you gotta play the same game as if, if you went to a, some of you might not like my doctor example because, you don't like medicine and doctors, but even if, let's say you went to in fact, this month, I'm going to see an allergist specialist that does like homeopathic allergy remedies. And because dōTERRA cleared my allergies up like 90% of the way, but I want to take care of the other 10%, right? So I'm paying a lot of money for this guy. When he tells me what to do after my appointment, do you think I'm going to be like, oh, well, maybe we'll see? No, I'm going to do exactly what he says, right? You need to treat your clients the same way. Are you having some light bulbs go off? Okay, so that line one more time is, because you're investing in yourself, I'm going to invest in you too. Okay, I want you guys to unmute yourself. What did I just convey by that one little line? What's the message that's being brought over? And Amy can't answer because you guys, I don't want you to hide behind Amy on here.
You're empowering them. You're moving that role over to them. You're not doing it all for them.
Right. Yep. It's an empowering statement. Absolutely. What else? What else have I conveyed by that line?
There's a comment that's come up. You've also shown them that they are valuable.
Yes. Yep. And I'm showing them that my time is valuable, right? It's not just, yeah, so if you could squeeze in another 30 minutes after your kit comes, we could do a wellness consult. No, I'm saying I'm going to invest in you, meaning I'm going to take some of my time and my resources and sit down with you. And I'm going to go over how to use your oils so you get results. And I'm going to show you how to save money in the future too. Yeah. And I love that little part because that tells them right at the beginning that I'm expecting that we're going to have an ongoing investment in your health
to the team that if they don't teach their clients and customers how to use their oils, they're never going to see the value in them themselves. If they don't feel comfortable enough to open up the bottles and they end up sitting on a kitchen bench, you're never ever going to get anyone an LRP because they haven't seen the value in the products they've just purchased. Yeah.
Exactly. Totally right. The reason why I'm harping so much on just scheduling the wellness consult is because there's no point teaching how to do the wellness consult if no one comes to the wellness consult. And this is the biggest complaint that I hear. It's not that you do wellness consults and no one wants LRP at the end of it. It's that people don't show up to the wellness consult. So are you are you figuring out, I'm going to come back to this at the very end and ask you what you've learned about scheduling wellness consults, okay? But does everyone remember that magical first line that you're supposed to write into the script? Yeah? Okay. All right. Then you offer 2 times, put it both on your calendars officially. I just love to offer a couple of times, you know. So I say, like, could you do next Tuesday or Thursday? Which time works best for you? And then actually put it on the calendar. And if I'm talking with someone that I know is spacey, I whip my phone out and I say to Siri on my iPhone, I say, schedule wellness consult with Amy on Thursday at 2 p.m. And I have Amy do it too. I say, let's put it in our phone so we remember. Because this is so important. Okay. And then I remind them just to have the computer or tablet ready because we're going to log into dōTERRA together. And that's not a big deal because everyone always has a device around them, right? You can even do it on your phone. Does anyone have a question before I move on about scheduling the wellness consult? Okay, good. You figured out. Go ahead.
Sorry, Andrew. I don't know if you're going to go further on with that. Most of yours, do you do it over telephone or whatever, and one-on-one like that? You don't go to people's places because that takes a lot of time?
I do all of mine over the phone, but if you have the opportunity to do it in person, you totally could. I've even heard of some people where they're just really high enrollers, and so because it takes so much time, they have group wellness consults, and those can be really successful. Yeah. And then what you do is you tell them you can even bring a friend. I'll let you bring 2 friends max to your wellness consult. You know, like you're doing them a favor, and then they bring a friend to their wellness consult, and then their friend gets exposed to oils, right? So yeah, you're right. It takes more time.
I love with the online wellness consults, I love that you can really schedule it in a little bit more succinctly, I guess, you know, because the people, when you have it in your home, I find, you know, you spend time making a coffee for them or making them feel really comfortable. There's all that extra sort of time, and it can sometimes drag out to 2 or 3 hours. I find that if you do the wellness consult online, it generally only takes me, well, it usually takes me about an hour because I take them through quite a lot of things, but I know that I'm going to be able to go through everything I need to within that time, and I don't tend to go over. So if you have a few to schedule in, it's really easy to sort of know that you're going to be booked for this time to this time, and you've got your other availability really accessible.
Absolutely, yeah. So is your name Shane, or is your name Shane? That's that question.
Yes.
Okay, good question, Shane. All right, so let's go into what's actually in the wellness console. So you start off by setting the agenda. So I like to say, we'll spend about 15 to 20 minutes going over how to use your new oils for your health. And, I can't see some of my script because the little video panel is blocking it. Let's see if I remember what I said.
Like I've changed mine. If you hover over sort of the top right of it, you should be able to.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, yeah.
That worked.
Is that better?
Okay. All right. So I'll show you the Essential Oil Resource Book we love for all things health related. I'll show you how to log into dōTERRA's website so you can order on your own, and I'll show you some tips on how to save the most money in the future. Sound good? And I tell them just grab a pen and paper so you can take some notes. And I always tell them to grab a pen and paper because I need them writing things down, because they're actually going to write down their own like wish list so that they can start building their LRP orders up. Okay. So then next is we review their health challenges. So they already told me this in the one-on-one or the class, but just make sure that we remember it. And then, and you guys, it's very often that they add things that they didn't think of before. Like they realize, oh, you know what I didn't bring up? My mom actually is having some horrible pain in her hip, and I didn't talk about that. So you get those things written down. And you guys, by the way, you know that you have all this written in your notes, right? So what I like to do is I use a free app called Evernote. And I have all these notebooks in my Evernote app, including a notebook just for all of my wellness consults. And that way I always have my customer stuff on hand. So if I ever do customer follow-up, I can call them up and say, hey, like when we do a 200 PV Deep Blue promo, I can say, hey, Amy, I remember that your mom was having some pain in her hips. Deep Blue is the promo this month, and that would be great for your mom. So you have relevant information. Okay, next is this question. Are there other oils you're curious about or other health issues you'd like to be prepared for? And this is fun because by the time you get to the wellness consult, they've usually gone on to dōTERRA.com, or they opened up that little beautiful book that dōTERRA sends in the mail with all the enrollment pack. accent now. And they're like, what is VetiV? Or you're like, oh, vetiver, let me tell you, right? Or they just see things that are interesting to them. And then most people have things they want to be prepared for too. Like if you talk about their health challenge, well, being prepared for back to school and kids getting sick, that's not a health challenge all the time. But if you say, do you want to be prepared for things? Then they'll usually say, yeah, I want to be prepared for allergy season or whatever. Yeah. And write these down. This is your wish list, okay?
So Andrew, how do you deal with the wording with compliance and things like that? I know that that's a bit of a hot topic in Australia at the moment, and I know a lot of my team members really quite worry that they'll overstep the mark.
Oh, here's what I'll tell you, and just, this is not just my opinion, this is corporate's opinion too, but you'll never see this in writing because corporate will never write this down. You don't have to worry about compliance when you're in an intimate setting, you guys. You have to be completely compliant if anything is published or indexable on the internet, if anything's on a blog or a public Facebook page or group or on your website or whatever, okay? A video, you have to be compliant. This is you guys know, I'm not saying compliant things here because I know that this video is behind closed doors.
Yeah. So
it's going in a closed Facebook group. So I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. When you're on the phone with someone, and when you're in the living room, this is Dave Sterling actually, and talked to Elise Shetty about this, and Emily Wright talked to me about this. And they said, tell your story. Just be honest with people. Be truthful about what these oils do. Just be aware. Just be totally compliant when you're on the internet.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Next thing is you want to introduce them to an essential oil reference book or app. I'm not sure how accessible books are for you guys. I use the Essential Oil Magic book, but I don't know if you have easy access to that like we do here.
We tend to have access to the Essential Life book or the Modern Essentials books.
Okay. Yep. And if you live in a remote space, then the Modern Essentials app on your phone works great too, right? So the whole point, though, is that they have a resource because you want them to get in the habit of going to that resource. So this is what I do now. We've talked about their health priorities, and we start looking it up in the book or the app. And I have them write things down, right? So I'll look at their sleep issue, and I'll say, okay, lavender, write these down. Lavender, which you already have, that's great. Serenity, and let's put Serenity Soft Gels too. And then we'll go through each of their health things. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing this balance of helping them feel really excited about the products they just bought, and while also stimulating curiosity about what they could also try. And you'll get used to this, but you've got to maintain a balance. The last thing you want is to say, oh, well, it looks like you need 20 oils and you didn't buy anything that you need, right? And they're like, well, then why did I just spend $300? Okay, so you get what I'm talking about there. And in this process, I'm teaching them to now go to their resource guide, right? So I like to be specific with people. And this is something that you're going to want to get good at. If you don't help them know exactly how to use their oils, they're way less likely to actually use their products, you guys. Like, don't say, yeah, so use the lavender for sleep. You say, you're going to take the lavender right before bed, and you're going to put like 4 drops in your palm, and you're going to rub some on your temples, graze your pillow with it, and then you're going to put some more in your diffuser. If you don't tell them exactly what to do, and maybe even have them write it down for spacey, they're way less likely to use it. And then they won't have any results, and then LRP doesn't make any sense because they're not getting results with their products. They're not even using their products. Does that make sense to you? If they're working on a thyroid issue, right, and you got them lemongrass and myrrh and peppermint, you're going to tell them, okay, so you're going to take each of those bottles and put it in a roller bottle if they already have a roller bottle, or you're going to put a few drops in your palm, and I want you to rub it on your thyroid, and I want you to carry those in your purse throughout the day and use that 3 times a day, with breakfast, with lunch, and with dinner. And you're going to have to be very consistent with that for at least a few months. And if you don't tell them what to do exactly like that, they won't do it. All right? And are we all clear on that?
I would say a really important thing there is, even if you covered certain things in the class about how to use the oils, remind that person again, even if they've been to the class, because oftentimes at the end of the class, they're so overwhelmed because there's so much stuff they've just learned. It's really important to take them, like you've said, through those again, so they really know how to use them.
Absolutely. It's really good. Thank you. Okay, so now supplements part. So I've got to ask, are you using good supplements? And that's a good transition, because I know a lot of people feel awkward bringing up Lifelong Vitality, but just I've got to ask, are you using supplements? And almost every person says no, or they're using stuff from, you know, the corner drugstore that's junky. And you share profound benefits of Lifelong Vitality and why it's dōTERRA's #1 selling product. So I wrote down a little script for you here. Basically what I like to do is just very briefly go over each of the components. So what I say is Lifelong Vitality is dōTERRA's #1 product, and when your body has amazing nutrients to work with, the oils are just more effective. So the supplement trio, it's derived from foods, so it's not synthetic and heavily processed like most of the supplements. And it includes a whole foods vitamin and mineral nutrient, a combination of plant and marine-based omegas with 9 oils in the omegas instead of chemical preservatives, and a special antioxidant and cellular fuel complex. And then I give my little, you know, what I use it for. And when I use this, I notice way more energy and better hormone balance, higher immune system, and a lot less pain and inflammation. And then here's the thing with Lifelong Vitality. You guys understand that Lifelong Vitality is the basis of most consistent LRP orders, right? If someone's only using oils, the likelihood of them staying on LRP consistently goes down very fast. Why is this?
Because the oils last a long time.
Yeah, the oils last long. I mean, who goes through clove very often, or basil? How often do you need to order those? Yeah, but supplements are heavily consumable. Now, I want to boost your confidence though in Lifelong Vitality. You understand, you guys, that Lifelong Vitality is the foundation of almost every protocol, right? If someone says that they're having sleep issues, Lifelong Vitality is chock full of trace minerals that help with sleep issues. If someone has any kind of inflammation, and you know that almost every health ailment has inflammation at its root, at its core, right? And Lifelong Vitality is the inflammation zapper. So no matter what someone's issues are, if they have headaches, if they have focus issues, if they have joint pain, Lifelong Vitality, that's where we start. And I tell people that. I say, that's where we start, and here's the deal. I say the best part is that you can use it for a month, and if you love it, awesome. But if we found something that works, but if it's not awesome for you, you can return the empty bottles and get all your money back. And that's also there's no point in not doing it. So I just say, if I were you, I would add that to your next order, because you're going to want that for your protocol. And again, if it doesn't work, then you get all your money back anyway.
And
the
Lifelong Vitality pack, for everyone who doesn't know, is actually registered with the TGA, so the Therapeutic Goods Australia. So that's a really great thing to mention as well.
Cool. Yeah, we don't have that. Good job. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is set up the LRP order. Now I'm going to blow your minds, you guys. Are you ready for how this works? Because this is where a lot of you guys are getting scared, and this is where you're awkwardly saying, okay, so yeah, that's what I recommend. So did you want to order any of this stuff? Okay, so here's what you're actually going to do. You're going to say, Blair, whip out your tablet, all right, or your phone or your computer, whatever's by you, and go to dōTERRA.com. And I say, I'm going to show you how to set up an example loyalty rewards order. Now, here's the deal about loyalty rewards. It's like frequent flyer miles, but instead of like the usual 2% back that you get with, like, you know, your airline credit card or your rewards credit card, you get 10 to 30% back. It starts at 10%. And every 3 months that you're on loyalty rewards, it goes up 5%. So like me, I've been using dōTERRA for a while now. So every dōTERRA order that I place, I get 30% back in free products. Do you guys have that? And people are like, wow, that's a lot. Because it is a lot. It's 15 times what your credit card is giving you right now. Yeah. and I love it, because it's the smartest way to stay consistent with my wellness protocols. And we get to try new products every month, and you earn shipping rewards, and it's totally customizable. So if you have a month where you need a lot of stuff, cool, add it all on. And if you don't need anything, you can shrink it down to something teeny like a lemon oil, which you'll go through really fast anyway. And and the best part is you get a free oil every month if you place a 125-point order by the 15th of the month. So I share the benefits there, right? And I say, I'm going to show you how to set up an example order. And we click the little button, you log into doTERRA.com. It's their first time, so it says, do you want a standard order or an LRP order? And I say, click the loyalty rewards order, and then it brings up the calendar. And I say, so it's giving you date options, because if you were to have an order go through on loyalty rewards, it goes through on a specific day each month. You can adjust the descending time, but let's pick an example date right now. Do you guys understand that I'm saying everything is hypothetical right now? But you're going to be amazed at what happens at the end of this, okay? So they say, okay, they pick the 22nd. I say, well, you might want to pick, you would probably want to do like the 14th, because then you would get the free oil of the month. So they pick the 14th, and then all I do is I help them start adding the most important items from their wish list. So I say, okay, so type in that little search bar, Serenity, and then see where it pops up, Serenity Soft. Just click on that, all right, add that to the cart, and then we just go through that. So type in Serenity, type in Lifelong Vitality. Oh, you've got 2 kids, great. Well, let's add on, here you could add on 2 extra sets of kid supplements for a discount, and we add all these things on. And then at the very end, all you do is you say, is there anything you'd want to remove? And you're going to want to write that down, what I just said. Is there anything you would want to remove? Is there anything you'd want to remove? Hypothetical language, right? And in almost every case, they say no. Or they say, well, yeah, take off that Serenity just to get it down a little bit or whatever. Or like I'll have people say, no, just leave it like that right now, and I'll just go back and review it later myself. But you guys, every time I've ever done a wellness consult this way, they leave the LRP order set up. And they know exactly what they're doing because they just did it themselves. They're the ones that did it, right? And I gave them complete permission to not do it. I say, is there anything you'd want to remove? And in some cases, they'll remove a few things, and in many cases, they just leave it as is. And sometimes I've had customers leave it as is, and then they'll go in and edit it later, but they still leave it set up. It's really cool. And so at that point, you say, okay, well, if that's the way you want it right now, click the Save button, and then it says enter your credit card. It says, so go ahead and put a credit card in, and that way it's stored in dōTERRA for all future orders, just to make your life easy. And then click Save again, and you're done. And you have now finished a wellness consult, and your customer's on LRP. So tell me what is going through your guys' brains here, because I want to hear how you're processing this.
Okay, I'll come through again. When you come to the credit card part, then it's like, it's not here. I'll do it a little later. I need to go and fetch my credit card, or it's a bit of a stall. When you come, they don't just seem to want to go over that final stage where it's set up.
Okay, so what you're describing is a problem that actually starts earlier on in the process. And the problem might have actually started when you even gave them their very first sample of dōTERRA. Now, the problem is why I harped on your attitude for how you set up the wellness consult to begin with, right? So we don't do things the same way doctors do at dōTERRA, right? Like we don't say you have to take 3 of this soft gel 5 times a day for the rest of your life or else you're gonna die, right? We're a little more gentle and loving, and we make suggestions than prescriptions. But the thing that we should do, similar to what doctors or naturopaths or paid professionals do, is we should have the same level of certainty that we're there with that prospect or that new customer to get a solution. And that's the root of that problem. It's so when I'm going through my wellness consult and I know that someone's working on sleep, digestive issues, and focus for their kid, I know that we're there to find the right solution. So I love that my customer maybe just bought the Home Essentials kit, so I know they've got the lavender for the sleep, the frankincense for the focus, the digestion, the peppermint for the stomach issues. And in the wellness consult, I say, Kate, so what you're really going to want to do is that's a perfect starting point, and you should start feeling better pretty fast. I want to take you all the way there, and you're going to need the Lifelong Vitality because that's for everything inflammation and for focus and for sleep. And you're going to need the Terrazyme and the PV Assist because we have to get your gut better. And my attitude isn't, I hope they want to try this. My attitude is, I know that the only reason they're on the phone with me because they're there to get a solution. Same reason why I'm spending hundreds of dollars to go see this homeopathic allergist specialist this month because I'm there to get a solution. And so he's not going to have to say, well, if you want to try some things to help with allergies, he knows that he's going to tell me what to do and I'm going to do it. And you got to have that same attitude, okay? So when you shift that, and that, Shane, I love your question. When you shift that, you'll see fewer of those awkward moments where they don't want to put their credit card in. Now, I said that problem usually starts it frequently starts from the very first time you give someone a sample. And it might look like this. Someone has a headache problem, and you say, oh, yeah, I do oils, and I'm not saying this is how you talk, Shane, okay? but people say, I see this all the time. They say, yeah, I do oils. They're so good. And they word vomit on their prospect about everything about oils and give, a mini class right then and there, totally inappropriate. And they're like, yeah, you should try some. And the attitude is not one of certainty. What I do when I'm setting up the sample, to give you an idea of how I prevent this problem so that I never get to the end of the wellness consult where they have a credit card awkwardness, is I say, okay, you have headache problems. I have a funny question for you. Are you open to trying natural things for it? And she says, yeah, I'm open to natural things. And I say, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. And right from the beginning, I've set the expectation that we're going to solve the problem. Does that make sense? Okay, really good question. By the way, if you've done all of that and you've come with high certainty and you know you're going to solve the problem and they're not ready to put the credit card in, then say, cool, just leave the window open and put it in when you're ready. And you know what? I'll also follow up in a few weeks to make sure that oils are working great for you and to answer any other questions you have.
Yeah, I think that's really great what you've said there, Andrew, about the confidence, because I think definitely when I see many times over when I do classes or when I'm talking to people and they're struggling with their first classes, a lot of the time the reason why they're struggling to make that happen is the confidence. And it's about reevaluating the confidence that they themselves have in the product and what they can do to help people. And I think the more confidence that I found in dōTERRA and the product themselves by me using them, the more I was able to go into my classes without a doubt, without worrying and having that sort of, oh, what if they don't believe me or whatever. It's because I truly believe that I can help them. And I think what you're saying there is 100%. We've just had a question that has come up from Tess. She has asked, I think this is fantastic information. How do you connect with someone who has had a time scheduled but doesn't answer or return the call for the wellness consult? Is there a line we could say to leave on the voicemail that could prompt them to call back?
So the line that you leave on the voicemail would sound something like this, but I'm also going to teach you how to not ever have to say this, okay? Because your problem is not what you think it is. All right. So the line that you would say is, "Hey, Amy, it's Andrew. I'm calling for our wellness consult, and I know you're probably busy, but I definitely know that you want to make sure you get the most out of your oils. So I probably don't have any more time today because I've got a lot of stuff on the calendar. So I'm going to shoot you a text message too. Call me back if I don't hear from you in a couple of days. I'll call you too, and let's make sure we get this on the calendar right away." I just stress the urgency, and I express in my voice that I'm assuming it's important to them too. So does that make sense? I made sure they know I'm busy, right? I'm not just waiting around hoping people will do wellness consults with me. My time's important, so I can't do any more today because I've got stuff on the calendar. But I know this is really important to you, so I'll shoot you a text, call me back, and let's get it on the calendar right away. Where we schedule again. Now, the actual problem, though, the reason why you're running into voicemail is because you didn't have a true commitment for the wellness consult to begin with. Which is why the time you solve this problem is way earlier in the process when you show up with this attitude that we're here to really get business done. We're really here to get progress happening. And when I schedule the wellness consult, it's that thing that I told you guys, right? That script. Because you're investing in yourself, I'm going to invest in you too. And I'm going to take some of my time and my resources and blah, blah, blah.
I think something that comes up a lot for people is they have this huge fear that they're being pushy or they're pushing someone into doing something that they're not wanting. how would you approach that for someone who's really struggling with that in themselves, and they're struggling to get past the fact that they don't need to be a pushy salesperson to make this work? What would you say to someone who's sort of new in the business and has a real fear behind that?
Okay, it's harsh, but what I would say is if you are worried that you're being pushy, you are, one, focused on yourself instead of the other person, and two, you do not believe in your ability to actually help that person. That's why you're worried about being pushy. When someone comes to me and they have a horrible, debilitating gut issue where they're in pain all the time and it's affecting their work life and their life enjoyment, I know that I can help them solve it. And I care about them. I care about that person enough to tell them what will actually help them.
Yeah.
And that's where my focus is. And I'm not worried like, oh, are they going to worry that I'm selling them stuff? Like, do you think that your doctor worries, oh, I hope she doesn't worry that I'm going to sell her stuff? No, you're there to fix the problem. That's why you went to the doctor. That's why the person's talking to you. Now, the difference is that the doctor doesn't come solicit your business, and we do solicit other people's business. And that's why at the very beginning of any of this, we ask for permission. You heard me do it, right? Before I even shared the sample, the very first sample, in my little hypothetical scenario, I said, oh, you have headaches. That sucks. I have a funny question for you. Are you open to trying something natural? And they asked for permission. I now have permission. I'm never going to worry about being salesy again. I asked for permission. They said yes. If they say no, and I'm like, oh, no, listen, you got to try oils. Now I'm being pushy and salesy because they said no. They're not open to it. But when they say yes, and they almost always do, I've had one person in 5 years say no to that question, by the way. And I laughed. It was so funny. One person in 5 years. So yeah, you guys, if you're worried that you're being salesy, if you're pushing people on LRP, it's because you have this problem. The solution that you're looking for is blowing up your own belief that you have the ability to help people. Now, Amy said some awesome things about confidence. Can you have that level of confidence, that certainty, if you're new to dōTERRA and you don't know everything about the oils? What do you think?
I think that it's something that can develop.
Okay.
But it can take years to learn everything about all the products. So when do you have to wait till you know tons of stuff to feel that massive confidence, that certainty? Shane, why are you shaking your head no? What do you say?
I think you'll always know more than the person you're speaking to.
Yeah.
So I think you've just, for me, it's just going with it and you use your reference material.
Yeah. If you don't know the answer, do you not have access to some stellar reference materials? Do you not have access to a Facebook group with hundreds and hundreds of other wellness advocates where at least a few dozen people will know the answer? Do you not have, right? And you guys, why do you think dōTERRA chose the network marketing model? It's because it's a complex product that it requires so much education. And we have this vast network behind us and our upline and our sideline. We're not even on the same team and we're talking about this stuff, right? We have this vast network. So the certainty doesn't come from knowing everything. The certainty comes from knowing that there are solutions and that you care about the person enough to lead them to the solution. Even if you have to say, you know what, that's a good question. I'm going to look it up and I'm going to text you back tomorrow.
Yeah, and I do always say to the team that you don't need to know everything, and no one expects you to. So it's okay to say, hey, I'm going to find out that answer for you. And people respect that when you show them that you care enough to go and find the answers. Melinda has just said, yes, by starting to use the oils yourself and how they have helped you.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a question? Sorry, do you mention the wellness consult in the class at all towards the end, or only on the one-on-one?
Oh, well, I mean, at the end of the class, you go around one-on-one, right? And help them pick out their kit and fill out their enrollment form.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I used to, at the end of the class, just, I used to share the wellness consult as one of the bonuses of enrolling. And I found that it works 1,000 times better to do it the way I've taught you here. Because what I used to do is I show all the enrollment kits on the class handout, and then I'd say, now, when you sign up for dōTERRA, you get a wellness consult, and and I would even talk about how valuable it is. But there's something different about after someone's had their enrollment form already filled out, you're kneeling down on the floor next to them while they're sitting in their chair, and you say, okay, because you're investing in yourself, I'm going to invest in you too. It's going to change your life when you do it that way.
Yeah. And
Good
sorry,
question.
the other question I wanted to ask you was, do you talk about the long life vitality pack in your classes?
I do. Yeah, always. Lifelong vitality, you guys, it's the basis for every protocol. So of course I do. I don't go into detail, I spend maybe 3 to 5 minutes on it max, but.
Okay. And would you just, the blurb that you put up before, would you basically say that type of information or stuff, or?
Yeah. I mean, you'll find your rhythm. It's what I found, the structure of sharing lifelong vitality, if you want to write down some bullet points, are: 1, briefly share why supplements are relevant to oils, because that's kind of surprising to a lot of people, right? And so you might even start off by saying, okay, this might surprise some of you, but one of the things that I'm eager to share with you is a supplement complex. And I know we're here to talk about oils. Here's why it's relevant. And then, some people use the analogy that it's like nutrients are like the people in the kingdom and oils are like the king, and the king has to have someone to boss around, right? And if there's no one in the kingdom, then the oil doesn't have anything to do. So I've heard a whole bunch of different things like that. So first thing, briefly share why supplements are relevant to the conversation. Number 2, share very briefly what the components are. Like, this is not where you go into tons and tons of science, and typically you don't have to, right? But I like to tell people, I like to compare it to what most people are taking from Costco or from the corner drugstore. And then 3, your own testimonial of it. So for me, lifelong vitality is huge because I used to have something called idiopathic hypersomnia, which means that I just fall asleep. I fell asleep singing on stage with 700 people with a film crew filming us. And my mouth was open, I was singing, and I would fall asleep. Like, it's not narcolepsy, it's something different. But anyway, so once I started doing lifelong vitality, I stopped falling asleep. Changed my life. Right? So you share your little testimonial, and I'd say, and the amazing thing is that when you've got the nutrition like this, like the whole foods, high quality plant-based nutrition, then it's the base solve here with your oils. So yeah, teach lifelong vitality is what I say in your class, in your one-on-one.
Okay. And can I ask still your little blurb of what you say, or do you have something that you could? I know you put something on there, but how you're saying, what was the one line or the couple of things that you say, how supplements are relevant? I mean, you sort of said it just then, but how supplements are relevant to the oils. You know what I mean? Like, they're a little, do you know what I'm trying to say?
That is what I say, what I just said. So,
okay. Yeah.
So let me say it again. Do I have time to, Amy, do I have time to say that, to repeat that?
Okay. Take your time. Will we get to see this again, Amy?
Yeah.
Be recorded. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Sorry. These are the questions.
No, you're good.
I thought I'd ask while I can.
I think maybe part of what you're asking is after I say why oils are relevant, which is, just the oils or the supplements are relevant because oils work more effectively when they have nutrients to work with. And then I'd say, so here's the components in it. The microplex is a whole food vitamin and mineral nutrient, which is awesome because it's all food derived. It's not synthetic stuff like what you buy at the drugstore usually. And then I say, then the second one is the Z omega. And this is amazing because it's a combination of plant and marine-based omegas with 9 oils in the soft gels. So most of us have probably been buying omegas from like Costco or somewhere where it's really cheap, and it's basically rancid fish oil that's been sitting rancid on a shelf for 9 months to or more, and it's not doing you a lot of good. This is super high quality. Brain support, joint support, heart support, right? And then the third one is alpha CRS. And alpha CRS is your cellular vitality complex. It's like cell fuel, and it's super anti-inflammatory. And so when you combine them all together, and that's why I show those 4 benefits, you have better hormone balance, higher immune system, less pain and inflammation, which, by the way, inflammation is at the heart of every health challenge that everyone in this class has shared. And then the 4th one is more energy.
Fantastic. I'll be re-watching that and writing that down.
Good.
Thank you.
And then my little testimony, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Fantastic.
Last thing that we get to go over here is keeping in touch. So my friend Jessica Roberts, who's she's another diamond. She lives in Idaho, and if you ever get to meet her, she does success coaching for people on other teams, and she's really good. She teaches what she calls the 3-3-3 rule for keeping in touch, and basically this is how it goes. So you talk to your new customer 3 times in the first week when they enroll. Now, that's not 3 phone calls, you guys. It could be a quick text message or tagging them on Facebook if you've added them to the customer group, right? But basically, you just want them to understand that your attention's on them, you're aware of them. They didn't just spend $300 on oils and then, they're just another number on your tally sheet, okay? So you might text them and say, hey, your oil should come in a couple days. I can't wait for your wellness consult. That's one of your 3 interactions. And then the third one is probably the actual wellness consult. Then you want to make sure you talk to them 3 times in their first month. So after the wellness consult, then 2 weeks later or a week later, text them or call them up, whatever kind of communication is really authentic to you, okay? And you just say, hey, I just wanted to make sure that your sleep protocol is going great. Are you starting to see some results? And, maybe they say not yet, and you say, keep at it. It'll just, give your body some time to acclimate or whatever. And then after that, you want to talk to your customers once every 3 months going forward. And so this could look like calling them, twice a year, offering an extra wellness consult, or just texting them and saying, hey, I saw this special this month, like the 200 PV deep loop moment, and just thought of you because I remember what you said about your mom and her hip. Something that just to keep the relationship going, because they're real people that we're dealing with here, right? And when the relationship is strong, you guys, they're never going to go away. When the relationship is strong, they're your customer for life. So any questions before I have a couple of bonus strategies, and I've got to blast through them because I promised under an hour and I want to keep my word.
So
any questions about
Kat's just mentioned that she started the 3-3-3 since your recent webinar, and she said it's so good. So thank you for that.
Cool. Well, I can't take credit. That was Jessica Roberts, so look her up. Okay, bonus strategies. After kit upsells. So I really like this, you guys. I love to focus on enrolling people with kits just because they save the most money, and I've really found value in trusting why dōTERRA created the kits the way they did. Like people will ask, well, I need myrrh and lemongrass for my thyroid. That's not in the Home Essentials kit. And I still like to say, if you want to add those on, great. You could also order them next month, but here's why I love the kits. And I like the kits because the kits give them a really solid basis. And even if someone wants to focus on their thyroid issue, I know that really when they need that On Guard, which is not part of anyone's thyroid protocol, they're going to be so glad they have On Guard and that it came with their kit. You know what I mean? And so I trust the kits, and I like that then you just say, well, let's add that on next month. And now I already have a great reason to set up that LRP order with them, because they started with the Home Essentials kit, and now we need to add on the lemongrass and the myrrh and the Life and Vitality, which, by the way, is now that's over 125 PV. So they're already getting their free oil of the month. Ding ding ding, right? So the next bonus strategy is 3-month protocols. Now this, if you use the company's Live Guide, at the bottom of the company's wellness consult form, there's boxes for 3-month protocols. And you can even add this to the value of your wellness consult. In fact, this is what Elise Shedevi does. You're never gonna forget this because I've said it so many times, but you needed to hear it 100 times. So when she's setting up the wellness consult, she says, because you're investing in yourself, I'm going to invest in you too. And I'm going to take my time, my resources, and we're going to sit down or on the phone as soon as your kit comes, and I'm going to show you how to use your oils for your health challenges so that you get results. I'll even help you set up a morning, evening, and night protocol for the next 3 months, even for you and your whole family if you want, so that you know exactly what to do. And then right from the beginning, before they even get on the wellness consult, they're like, oh my gosh, she's so nice. She's going to help me with a protocol. I didn't even have to pay her for it, right? And so then I love to ask the question, how serious are you about getting results for these health needs? And when people say I'm really serious, then it's just a no-brainer to set up the protocol. And I say, okay, well, for the thyroid, you're going to have Lifelong Vitality every month, basically. Now, remember, if it doesn't work for you, fine. But you can cancel it and get your money back. But let's assume that it's going to work because I know it will, okay? So let's put Lifelong Vitality in all 3 months. And then the first month, you're going to want to put myrrh and lemongrass. On month 2, you'll probably run out of the peppermint. So let's add peppermint to month 2. And you just go on like that, okay? And fill out their protocol that way. And of course, you'll help them set up the first month. And because you had them taking notes on their notepad the whole time with you, they already know what months 2 and 3 will be. And you can even say, now I know this might be a lot to implement, so I can even hop on the phone with you for 5 or 10 minutes after the first month to make sure you feel comfortable with month 2. Would that be helpful? And now you've got an excuse to make sure their LRP order is still set up the second month. Do you guys see how this works? Do you understand the habit that I have of conveying value in everything that I bring to the table? I don't do this game of, oh, I hope she wants to do a wellness consult with me, or I hope she wants to be, literally my habit is we're here to solve the problem, and everything I bring to the table, I'm going to bring massive value, and I know that they're just going to love it. Okay, my last little treat that I have for you, I'm going to go a few minutes over. Sorry, guys.
I just had an important question pop up from Tess. Sorry. She's just asked, can people take that the wrong way and say you're playing doctor, yet you have no qualifications? Have you ever had that come up?
The safest way to deal with Lifelong Vitality tests is to remember that it's like anything. You got to pay attention to someone's body weight. So the average human being is, 5'8" and 160 pounds, something like that, right? That's who Lifelong Vitality is designed for. So if you have a little lady who is 5'1" and 90 pounds, are you going to tell her to take a full dose? You could suggest it, but you could also say, try just taking 3 pills at a time. Or if you've got someone that's like my 11-year-old who doesn't want to do the kid supplements, but it's possible for an adult, probably 11-year-old take a dose. And if you've got someone that's a 230-pound Polynesian person, a dose of Lifelong Vitality is probably not going to be effective on that person. They're probably going to have to double it. So that's the safest bet. And then just remind people, it's just like you can take an over-the-counter from the corner drugstore and need to adjust the dosage based on your body's needs. You're not playing doctor. We just give recommendations.
Yeah, thank you. Because I actually take a quarter of the dose myself and feel amazing. So that's good to know. Thank you.
Well, you look like a thin person, so your body probably doesn't need as much.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
At least from the shoulders up, you look like a thin person. Sorry. Okay. Last thing I have for you guys. I don't know why something's written on my screen, but this is the supplement challenge. This is something we just put together for kicks, and basically. Oh, someone else is drawing on the screen. It's not me.
I'm not sure what's happening there. It's not me.
Who knows? So you can do, if you have a bunch of people that have never tried Lifelong Vitality in your downline, you can put together a supplement challenge. Basically, the way that it goes is, actually, I'm just going to play the video for you, okay? So here it goes. It's a 50-second video. And I filmed this with my iPhone, you guys, and just texted it to all my customers that weren't on LLB.
Hey there, I'm Andrew, and I'm here to invite you to the supplement challenge. So you already have the world's most amazing essential oils, and you're going to want to experience the whole food supplements that literally turbocharge your oils. Why would you do this challenge? Because Lifelong Vitality has been shown to support healthy mood, joints, heart, brain, memory, immune system, blood pressure, digestion, even healthy inflammation. It's literally raw food for every single cell in your body. So during August, order 2 Lifelong Vitality packs or daily nutrient packs as an LRP order for you and a family member. And as a gift, we will send you a beautiful hardbound copy of the Essential Life book. This is the best natural remedy essential oil reference book there is. Every health element, every remedy is in here. And if you don't absolutely love your supplements, well, you can return the empty bottles for a full refund. And you get to keep the book. So, would you like to accept the challenge?
And that's it. That's all I sent people. And you guys, it's a great marketing strategy because it's oh my gosh, something gained. I forgot the marketing term, but it's better than money back, right? It's better than a money back guarantee because if they can get their money back and they get to keep the book. Now, is it worth it for me? Of course it is, because it cost me whatever, $18 for the book or whatever it is. And most people will stay in Lifelong Vitality because when people get on it, they love it. So that was just an extra idea that I had. So recap of all the secrets: build your belief in LRP, expect that people want to invest in their wellness, assume setting up LRP, and we did it all hypothetically, right? So they did it themselves and gave permission. And then you can get creative with your product strategies with some of those bonuses that I gave you at the end there. I think that's the last slide. Oh, if you want to stay in touch,
sorry.
here's where you can find me on the Generosity Forum and then in my program too. So
I just want to ask really quickly how to access your Power. I missed your Power 3 web video a couple of weeks ago. Is a way we can view that again, or there a link or something?
My Power of 3 video.
Didn't you mentioned it? Oh, from what Amy was saying about the previous webinar or something a couple of weeks ago, and because I wanted to watch that but I couldn't get to, and I think there was techno. Do you know what I'm talking about, Amy? You mentioned it, something she said once she implemented what you taught, and now she's been able to.
It was the same call. I just did this for another team.
What was that? Sorry.
It was the same. It was the same call. I just did it for another team.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry. Sorry.
And, Andrew, thank you so much for today. Shane
Thank you.
said, some say we're on special supplements from the naturopath, so no thanks. So what would you do in that situation if someone has zero interest in LRP? Is there something that you kind of default to for that?
If someone said we're on special supplements from the naturopath, I would say, oh, do you love them? And if they say yes, then I would say, cool, then use them. You guys understand that that's not bad news, right? It's not like your business is going to fail because someone else is good. We're not the only company with great supplements. We easily have some of the best supplements, but we're not the only ones with good supplements. So don't think that you have to freak out if someone else happens to have good supplements too, because some people will. If I would say, oh, awesome, do you love them? And if they say no, then I'd say, well,
I think the other thing that you could do there, Shane, as well is, there are so many other things that you can help with. You can help with reducing toxins around the home, so you can bring in the chemical, the non-toxic cleaners that we have. You can talk about that sort of thing as well. Toothpaste. There's other things that you can bring in there as well.
Can I just, sorry to interrupt, but I just want to use my husband as an example. He was on some tablets from the naturopath, and then when I showed him the Lifelong Vitality Pack after convention, he was all on board and wanted to try it. And I actually looked at what he was taking, and that's in the Lifelong Vitality Pack. And I actually feel that's better results from him. So what I've kept in mind to mention to people is that with dōTERRA's LRP program, they're going to be receiving the benefits as well with the points, and you don't get that from your naturopath.
Yeah, that's true. You don't get points from the naturopath. And you guys, the last thing you do at the end of your wellness consult is you invite your customers to continuing ed, whether that's participating in the monthly webinars from dōTERRA, or if your team has a continuing ed program, all of that, okay? And continuing ed, and I'm glad you brought that up, Tess, because you guys, the real goal is after someone's already enrolled, the real goal is to help someone find 4 or 5 products that they're going to love for the rest of their lives. Does everyone on this phone call have 4 or 5 dōTERRA products that you would never, ever, 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 ever live without? So, okay, a couple of you guys don't, so we need to work on your, some people that didn't raise their hand need to go to continuing ed, Amy, invite them, okay? For me, I have a handful of products that I would never live without. Even if dōTERRA took away their business plan, I would always use Forgive Oil, I would always use frankincense oil, I would always use Lifelong Vitality, and I would never stop using TerraZyme, you guys. I consume a lot of TerraZyme because I feel so good when I'm on it. dōTERRA has me for life. And so even if someone's not into LLV, that's okay. Bring them to continuing ed events, educate them in other creative ways, and help them find those 4 or 5 products that they will never walk away from.
Yeah, definitely agree. Yeah. Well, thank you, Andrew. I am just so thankful that you've been on the call today. I know that my team have benefited so much from everything you've shared today. Please, everybody, please head over to Andrew's page, the Generosity Forum, and give him a good like and follow his page. He is just amazing, as you can see from today. And I am so thankful for the time that you've given up today. You've answered so many of our questions. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. This is a blast. You guys are really interactive and good questions, good feedback, and you obviously have a stellar team leader too. I'm really excited for all of your growth that you're experiencing down there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, enjoy the rest of your day and, well, night actually. You go off to sleep, and we shall chat with you soon.
Okay, bye everyone.
Thanks, Andrew.